Hi guys, and welcome back to Six Star Doll Studios with Six Star Doll Sewing. So today I'm going to be making Miss Willow a pair of matching pajamas, so I wanted to bring you on the journey. So I already cut out the pattern, so I just used Dolly Delight's sweatpants tutorial, or sweatpants pattern, and then a tank top pattern that I made on my own, but I can link down another tank top pattern that you can use. So first things first, I threaded the machine with white thread, and then now I'm going to start on the pants. So this is the material I am going to be using. That's why I'm using the white thread up there. And so I'm going to turn it so that the right sides are facing together. So this is the right side, this is the wrong side. So that now it looks like this. See, right side and wrong side. So I'm going to sew along here and along the other side too. And so on my sewing machine, it has these little markings with 10, 15, and 20. And that would be 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, and 6/8, which are like up here. So I did cut out extra, and I just did a pair of pants for another doll, but they were really baggy, so I think I'm going to match my fabric up with the 15. So I just tried this on Wyllow, and the waist fits perfectly enough for me to add an elastic or a drawstring or whatever I choose to do. So now I'm going to cut this like fabric a little smaller, and then I'm going to finish it off with a zigzag seam so that it does not run later on when I'm using it. So now the edges will look like that. And now we're going to move on to the pant leg, which is right there. So to do that, I take my fabric and I fold it so that the crotch is like in the middle and lines up with the other seam that we did. And then you take these pieces of fabric, which is the pant leg, and you line them up and pin them. Now for these ones, the pant, like I cut it weirdly, so the pant leg here doesn't line up to here. So it's most important that this lines up, and you can just cut the bottom of the pants to whatever you need. So like, as you see here, this does not line up with each other. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut that. And now I'm going to sew along this edge, and I think I'm going to do the 15 mark again because the pants seem very baggy, if you can tell. So I just tried these on Wyllow, and they're fitting how I like it. So now I'm going to cut this and finish it with the zigzag seam, just as I did for this one. So the next step that I forgot to do before sewing this together is I'm going to finish off this edge, and then I'm going to fold it in. You can do it either now or before you sew this, but it's whatever you choose. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to finish the seam with a zigzag edge. So now that this edge is finished, I am going to fold it over, pin it, and then sew it with a straight stitch. And if you are making these, it is up to you how much you want to fold it in. You can use a ruler or measuring tape or whatever you would like. I just kind of guessed how much I want because I already charted on Wyllow and it seemed about like almost the perfect length, so I don't want to fold it in too much. So this is what it looks like. It's going to be wrong side to wrong side this time, because when you fold it over, it's just going to be a straight stitch. Also, a new tip for any people who are learning to sew, I always look in the like material section of my thrift store. So Value Village has like a huge variety. This is where I got this fabric, and you can get fabric for really cheap, and sometimes you can find bags of thread or lace or whatever, and that's where I get a lot of my materials. And then I've also found thread at the dollar store for like a pack for like $4 or whatever, which is really good because thread can be really expensive, although some thread isn't good for machines, so it can like break because it's too thin or not good enough quality, so just like watch out for that. And I've also learned how to sew all by myself. Like my grandma taught me the basics, my mom taught me a little bit, but most of it I just played around and learned as I grew up. So I don't know, I thought that would be interesting to share my experience. So now I'm going to sew along here with about, I think, let's see, a 3/4 or 3/8. Oh my gosh. I think I'm going to line up the fabric at 10, which is 3/8 of an inch. Yeah, and a straight stitch. Now, just for extra detail, I like to add like an extra straight stitch just beneath the stitch that I just did. So I'm going to do it with the length of 3, and that is optional. So you can choose if you want to do it or not, or if you're just watching for fun. This is what I'm doing. Yeah. So something happened here, so I'm going to rip out all the stitches and, well, the bottom stitches, and redo it. So what I do is I take my seam ripper that looks like that. They're very handy to have. They're like, one second. They are like a must need, because if you make a mistake, this is your best friend. So that's what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to redo it. And so now that this pant leg is done, I'm going to sew this leg and do the extra little stitch that I like to do. So as you can see, this is what it looks like on Wyllow. I like the pants length, oh my gosh, but this is extremely tall, like it goes up to here. So I'm going to fold it down to however I want and then pin it so that I can see like what I'm working with, kind of. So I do not need all this fabric, so I'm going to cut it down and then I'm going to finish the edge and then I'm going to sew it. So first thing is cutting it, and now I'm going to finish it off with a zigzag seam. So I'm going to take these pins out and then do that and then pin it again. A lot of pinning and sewing, but you know, that's how it is. So before I folded this to the left side when I was sewing this, like, the pant legs together. So that means I'm going to do the same when I am finishing off this edge so that it's not twisted like that. Same for the other side. So now I am trying it back on Willow, and I'm going to fold it over how much I need, and then I'm going to pin it down just like we did before, but now this is a finished edge, so it is going to be ready to be sewn. Again, I'm just guessing how much I want to do, so I guess it's more up to you if you're sewing on how much you want to do and how much you think you'll need. Just try to keep it even around all the waistband. I'm not very good at that, so it's a bit hypocritical, but yeah, that's what it looks like right now. So now I'm going to take it off her, and I'm going to sew a straight edge around the pajamas, or the top, I guess. Also, if you do choose to do elastic, you're going to leave a little opening where you start to sew and between you, like, you end, so like you'll have this little pocket to weave the elastic through. Although I am going to choose to do drawstrings, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew all the way around, and then I can show you after what I do. This is what the pajama pants look like. I'm going to use this yarn or string for a drawstring, so I have to find the start to this thing, and then I will take some. I'll show you. So when I do this, I kind of just take a random length of string because I can cut it later, just as long as it's long enough. So this is my piece of string. It is or yarn, whatever. It is very long, but that is okay. So now I am going to take my seam ripper, and I'm going to make 2 little holes at the front of the pants so that I can weave the thing in. So when I do this, I make sure to only get the first layer because it's like folded over, so I only want the first layer. So just make a hole like that, and then do the same on this side. And now I am going to take a safety pin, and I'm just going to tie the yarn in the safety pin like this. So it just looks like that, and now I'm going to just weave it through the 2 holes around this, and then it'll come back to this hole. And there we go. Now I'm going to try it on Willow, and then I will decide what I'm going to cut, and then I'm going to make knots at the end of the string, just, you know, for fun. And then also, if you want, you can put clear nail polish on the end so that it doesn't fray over time. Yeah. So this is what the pajama pants look like on Willow. The waist is a little loose, so I can just pull and knot the drawstring like that, or I can tie it or whatever I want, like that. And now I'm going to move on to the shirt. So as I said at the beginning of the video, I am using just like one of my own patterns that I made. This was for like a crop tank top, and then so I just extended it and made it a little bit bigger because it's a not stretchy or non-stretchy fabric, and it's a pajama shirt, so I wanted a little loose but like not too loose. I'm not exactly sure or how it's going to fit right now, but yeah. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to finish off these edges on, this is the front and the back. So it's going to be right here and right around there with a zigzag stitch. Okay, so this next step is probably the most difficult thing out of this whole like video. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be folding all these edges inwards towards the wrong side and then sewing it with a straight stitch. It can be really annoying to do, and I don't really like doing it, but you know, it's part of making the shirt, so yeah. So I just finished the front. It's not perfect because I'm not very good at sewing around edges, I guess. So it looks a little funky. And now I'm going to move on to the back. So I'm doing the same thing. I'm going to pin it inwards towards the wrong side, like that. And then I'm going to sew it. Okay, so now I have them sewn. Honestly, the back pieces look better than the front, but whatever. So now I'm going to take a back piece, line it up with the front piece on the side, and then I'm going to pin and sew right here for both pieces. So it's gonna go like that. So I tried it on Wyllow and I like how it fits her, so I don't need to sew it any tighter or take out any seams and sew it looser. So this is what it looks like so far, and now I'm going to flip it inside out. And so basically all I'm going to do is do a zigzag stitch along with these two together. I'm running out of storage, so a lot of these aren't going to be in too much detail. Sorry about that. So now the finished seam would look like that, and I am going to make the tank top a bit shorter because right now it's longer than I would like. So I am going to fold it up, pin it, and then I'm going to cut a bit and then finish the edge. So now that the edge is finished, I'm going to fold it over and use a straight stitch along the bottom of the shirt. I have the stitch down, and just like the bottom of the pants, I'm going to add the extra detail to do another stitch. So this is what the top looks like on her so far. So the next step I'm going to do is the back where the Velcro is going to be. So this is a little long, so I'm going to cut it, finish the edge, turn it over, and then sew on the Velcro. So I sewed this up, and now I'm going to attach the Velcro. It's going to go right there. So I have the Velcro here. This is just sew on, and I'm going to cut the amount that I need, and then I'm going to pin it on to where I want. Okay, so now that the Velcro is done, this is what it looks like. There is a little mess up, but since it's just mine and I'm not selling it to anyone, I don't really mind. So next is going to be the straps. So I'm going to put them together and then pin them where I like. And then I'm going to straight stitch right here. And then I'm going to do a zigzag across to finish up the edge. And so this is what the top looks like when it's done. This is also the end of the video, so I hope you enjoy. And here are a couple clips of the overall product. Also, as I have said before, I am thinking about running an Etsy account in the summer, so if this is something that you would be interested in seeing in my shop, please let me know and I can make some more because I have some extra fabric. So yeah, anyways, I'll see you guys next time. Bye!